Right now, we give some space to best practices and experiences in the management of our cultural heritage. And this is why I now give the floor to Jennifer Head, who will be presenting a collaborative journey that started in 2018 among a few of the women religious congregations in the U.S. The main objective of this project was to rationalize the organization of their archives. The heading of her presentation is A Collaborative Journey, the Heritage and Research Center at St. Mary's. You have the floor.
Good morning. As stated, my name is Jennifer Head, and I represent the Heritage and Research Center at St. Mary's in Notre Dame, Indiana. Many congregations of women religious in the United States are coming to completion and planning their legacy and what to do with their land and buildings. With regard to buildings, they must also plan for the disposition of the contents of those buildings, including the archives. Congregations have been exploring options such as moving archives overseas to more active communities, consolidating provincial archives, depositing their archives with the local diocese, partnering with universities, or working with congregations with similar charisms to create a joint archive. Other congregations have chosen another option: collaboration with geographic neighbors. This congregational geographic model is being pursued by the Heritage and Research Center at St. Mary's, shortened to HARC. HARC's membership is made up of congregations from the American Midwest: the Our Lady of Victory Missionary Sisters from Huntington, Indiana, the Sisters of Charity of the Blessed Virgin Mary from Dubuque, Iowa, the Sisters of the Holy Cross from Notre Dame, Indiana, the Sisters of St. Casimir from Chicago, Illinois, the Lady Smith Servite Sisters from Ladysmith, Wisconsin, the Sisters of the Living Word from Des Plaines, Illinois, the Sisters of the Good Shepherd of St. Louis, Missouri, the Sisters of the Most Precious Blood, O'Fallon, Missouri, the Sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the Sisters of Mercy of the Holy Cross from Merrill, Wisconsin. The first seeds for HARC were sown in April 2018, when 52 people, representing 27 congregations of women religious, gathered for a day of dreaming at the invitation of the Congregation of the Sisters of the Holy Cross at their mother house, St. Mary's, which also shares a campus with the women's college they founded, St. Mary's College. At the time of the meeting, the Holy Cross Sisters were in conversation with St. Mary's College about developing a collaborative archive and heritage center. This day of dreaming was an initiative of the sisters to gauge the interest of other congregations in joining in this collaborative project. On this day of dreaming, the Holy Cross Sisters shared their collaborative vision and invited others to participate. The shared wisdom session enriched the original vision based on the collective experience of all of the interested congregations. Together, they visioned an archive center open to researchers and a heritage center not focused on the past, but documenting that past and how that heritage lives on into the future. This Archive and Heritage Center allows apostolic women religious to be the storytellers of their own history. Many participants spoke of trust as a key component. If this trust was nurtured and grown, it would serve as a stable foundation for the dream. At the close of this meeting, participants were asked to indicate their level of interest in the venture. A steering committee of representatives from 4 of the congregations was created to move the project forward. The steering committee focused on identifying the next steps to bring this collaborative to fruition. These next steps included gathering preliminary information on the cost of renovating versus new construction, identifying existing buildings that could be renovated to house the archives, and identifying potential funding sources. Other steps included surveying interested congregations on the size, scope, and budgets of their collections, as well as contacting archivists who were already engaged in forming collaborative archives. In April 2019, the Sisters of the Holy Cross hosted a follow-up meeting to the original Day of Dreaming. Representatives from 10 congregations and St. Mary's College attended. At this meeting, people shared information about their congregation and its history and mission. They also shared wants, needs, hopes, and vision for the collaborative. Attendees also committed to move the project forward. In support of this, a representative from each congregation and the college was added to the steering committee. The newly expanded steering committee met in 2019 to make the dream of 2018 a reality. At this meeting, the group developed a mission statement and named the endeavor the Heritage and Research Center at St. Mary's, a collaborative archive of women religious and their sponsored ministries, which was dubbed HARC. The vision of HARC includes research collections open to the public and a place to document the past and carry forward the charism, work, and heritage of the members. HARC allows apostolic women religious to share their story in their own words and demonstrate how this story fits into the larger historical narrative. The steering committee also formed a 7-person board of directors, incorporated in the state of Indiana, and began the process of becoming a nonprofit 501c3 organization. The Bishop of the Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend has been informed and is enthusiastic. HARC is now listed in the 2022 edition of the official Catholic Directory. In addition to setting up a corporate infrastructure, HARC has been engaged in finding a physical location. The initial thought was to retrofit existing buildings on Mother House land, but engineering studies showed this plan was not feasible. HARC has been discussing various alternatives on campus with St. Mary's College. The future site will provide space for an archival repository, exhibit, and office space. New construction and repurposing of underutilized buildings are options. In anticipation of an agreement, the HARC Board of Directors has moved forward with selecting an architectural firm for design and construction. HARC has asked each congregation to conduct a space study of its archives. Congregations were asked to calculate how many linear feet of archival material made up their collection, what types of material made up the collection, manuscripts, bound materials, photographs, etc., and how that material was stored, archival boxes, filing cabinets, flat files, etc. Each congregation was determined how much space it would need for non-archival materials, such as artwork, furniture, and textiles. While HARC is not placing limits on the amount of non-archival materials congregations can include in part of their collection, HARC has asked each congregation to carefully consider how this material contributes to the story and only send items that are important to that story. HARC is also assisting congregations who did not have the ability to carry out a collection survey. Once information about the size and scope of each archival collection was gathered, detailed planning for the Archive and Heritage Center began. The building will be built by the construction standards approved by the Society of American Archivists. HARC also plans to construct a green building in the spirit of Laudato Si by meeting the criteria for LEED certification as much as possible. While St. Mary's College will not be a partner member of the Heritage and Research Center, it remains active in supporting and engaging in the collaborative. In addition to offering a physical location, it is providing other resources such as a nearby auditorium, use of classrooms as needed, and work-study opportunities for students to aid in digitizing collections. The college is eager to identify other areas of support, and a representative from the college serves on the HARC board. One of the key issues HARC is working on is a funding model. Each member congregation has made a deposit on an entrance fee to fund the planning process, including attorney fees, engineers, architects, or other consultants. HARC has planned for 2 other monetary contributions from each congregation, one for the initial construction of the archive, and the second for the operation of the collaborative. Recognizing the financial constraints many congregations operate under, HARC has proposed a funding model based on the size of the archival collections. HARC is also investigating what grants are available for construction and future support. A foundation established in perpetuity will ensure that the mission of the congregations continues beyond their historical completion in the United States. HARC is not only collaborative among its 10-member congregations, it is also exploring ways to collaborate with other archives housing the collections of women religious. There are currently 3 other archives in the United States undertaking this work: Boston College, Santa Clara University, and the Women Religious Archive Collaborative in Cleveland, Ohio. All 4 archives are engaged in discussions on how to work together to make their records more discoverable and accessible, perhaps through an online network. Most of the discussions surrounding the future of congregational archives in America center on some form of collaborative model. These collaborations take careful and mindful planning. More importantly, working collaboratively requires trust. While HARC is building a building, it is also building a sense of trust among the member congregations. HARC members have been working together for over 3 years, and despite the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic, this trust has allowed our project to continually move forward. One of the joys of being part of this project has been watching the trust grow with every step forward. Though still in process, the HARC model of collaboration provides another avenue for congregations to explore. Thank you.